What's the word out there, everybody? I just wanted to jump on live and see if I could catch some of my supporters in the chat. I just reached 6,000 subscribers. Well, supporters, because I don't want to call you subscribers. You're my supporters. This is Sunday night. It's been football all day. Let's see. Anybody want to jump in the chat? We got one person in the chat. Shout out to you. Drop a comment, man. I'm just on here engaging with my supporters. I just reached 6,000. I'm a little excited about that. Let's see, man. Let's see. Right. Second. Man, Chicago Bear fan. It's Sunday, and I hate when the Bears don't play. Watching these other teams boring as hell. See. Hold on for a second, y'all. What's the score of the game?
You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
What's the word, Pop?
What were you saying about D'Angelo Russell?
So yeah, D'Angelo Russell got traded today to the Nets. I think Lakers got like 3 draft picks and somebody, but I was hearing rumors that he got traded to Brooklyn and them niggas immediately dropped him. But oh my bad. But I don't think that him getting dropped is true. I mean, getting waived is true. But at the same time, it's just like, man, I actually, I'm not gonna lie. I seen LA fans cheering for him getting traded more than I seen them cheer when LeBron came back. I mean, came to LA. Like that's crazy.
I wonder why would they be cheering for him? Like you know what with with Lakers and anybody that's with LeBron, it's always somebody got to be the scapegoat, man.
I feel that way too. I feel that way too. But I can't argue when somebody tell me like, man, D'Lo Russell actually has multiple 0 point games. And I'm just like, well, I can't argue that. But at the same time, you can't argue LeBron got the same MO for every time he goes to a new team. Like, the team get rid of all the young talent and everything. So, like, it's always somebody else's fault.
Yeah. I like D'Angelo Russell, man.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with D'Angelo Russell personally. Do I think he's an elite point guard? Like, no. But, like, I don't have a problem with him. He seemed like one of them you know how they say in the NFL, they had that conversation of game changers and game managers. He a game manager.
I mean, man, anybody who play with LeBron is, they get turned into a game manager.
Yeah, like that I think that's true too. It's just like I put D'Lo Russell in that category where like I said, he's not an elite point guard, but he's one of them point guards where it's like, all right, he might score only get like 12 points this game, but it's gonna be probably some of the most vital 12 points of that game.
I don't even whoever they got. I don't know if he gonna be of any help to him.
I mean, in my opinion, I don't think LA can make really the proper trades to get the help they need to win. Like, first of all, you got LeBron already in interviews saying like he's not finna play too much longer, so that's how you know he really not competing for a championship. We already discussed them getting Bronny on the team. Them boys ain't competing to be champions. Everything is for like views and probably stuff like that. Sponsors and stuff like that. I don't think they really want to win.
Nah, they definitely don't want to win, and I don't know what else. I don't even know what LeBron's still playing for. Honestly, he doesn't have a chance to compete for a championship. You got all the records. You done got Bronny into the league. It's like what else?
I mean, he probably waiting on Bryce. Bryce coming to lead what 2 more years now.
Hey, if he can get Bryce in the league, he the goat off that alone.
I mean, you think they can tell him no?
They should be able to tell him no at this point.
Like, I think it's just one of them situations where it's like, hey, look, man, y'all branded me y'all face for the last 20 some odd years. I'm the face of this place, and I brought championships, I brought viewers, all that stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now you give me what I want type situation, probably. But like I said, like I don't think it like championships and all that don't matter to LeBron. So it's like more so about retirement. All this stuff he doing now just seemed like the end of his career type moves. Like the thing about it though, LeBron is a brand himself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he don't if they don't give him what he want, he will just happily leave. He don't need nothing else from the NBA.
You think
And
this would
it's like
happen?
one of them deals I think where the NBA would lose out more than LeBron would. Like think about it. The NBA don't even know who finna be the next big guy.
Probably gonna they're trying to make it be Wimby.
You think it's gonna be Wemby?
I mean, that's what they trying.
Do you think that would be a wise choice though to put him in that role?
They need anybody that could market the brand and put it on put it up on a high level. It can't be Anthony Davis because he too, you know what I'm saying, he just don't fit the mold, you know what I'm saying. He can't be the face, be the face of the league because
Call
he
that.
too he too different.
They make him the face of the league. I'm calling that man Big Brittle.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen. It could have happened until he started showing who he really is. Then they don't want nobody showing who they really is.
Yeah. Like I think, in my opinion, I think when it comes, like matter of fact, I think I agree with you now. Uh, I agree with you now. When a few podcasts ago we had a conversation about who was the next guy, and I argue, I was like, my opinion, I like Anthony Edwards because he's a young guy and he got that competitive nature. But I actually agree with you now when you say the media probably can't market him as good as everybody else because you know how he talk is gonna be a problem.
Facts, facts. They can't put him in. They can't put him in front of no camera.
What'd you say, Pop?
They can't put him in front of no camera. He can't. He not the one that you want to say, hey, we going to Disney World.
Um, so like I think, in my opinion, no, in my opinion, if it ain't Anthony Edwards, can't be Wimby. In my opinion, I just don't think it can be Wimby. Like I don't know. I just still see a lot of things about Wimby that's green, and I don't know, man. Like I agree that he probably can't be marketable, but I like Anthony Edwards a lot, man. Like I don't know, like it's something about a young dude who like saying he say like we might not like how he said, but he's saying everything you want to hear. Like, hey, look, the kid hate load management. He hate these players sitting out. He want to go at it with the best of them. Like I can't argue with that. Because and honestly, it's a lot of players that the problem is I think with the NBA is they made these monsters because it's a lot of people who should have been in that I'm a face of the NBA role. Like Joel Embiid should be one of them people, but Joel Embiid don't want to play back-to-back games.
Yeah, and the fact that they letting them get away with that is crazy to me. Because like, how do you consider yourself a serious contender for a championship if your star player can't play back to back games? Like, uh, playoff positioning matters, and where it look right now, they ain't going to.
No, they're not. Listen, this is the best Philly basketball has been since AI. and that's not saying much because you don't ain't nobody ever sat and thought Philly is finna be in the finals. They one of the teams that just can't show up in the playoffs. Joel Embiid, it I want to say it's kind of like the same situation with LeBron in the sense of it's never his fault, but it's one of them situations, man. He I'm gonna be honest with you. It was a time where I thought that Joel Embiid and James Harden was the duo that everybody needed and didn't know it, and they did none with that. Absolutely nothing with that. And at the time, I think James Harden one of the best shooters in the league at that time.
I mean, he's one of the best players, and I guess you consider him a shooter. He a high volume shooter, and that's sometimes that could be bad for him.
Yeah, I think it's a very dangerous thing to like put up so many shots for sure. But I mean, at one point he was one of the best scorers in the league, and I would like to believe it was between the time he was in Houston and Philly. But it just shouldn't be. It's just certain times where it's like you shouldn't fail. That's the best way to put it. Is I ain't gonna say you can't fail, but you shouldn't. And that's one of them times.
Yeah,
One of the
I'm
most memorable. And it's funny is because I think it a lot of people, we end up like forgetting like certain moments in an NBA that's like these are very historic moments. In a moment we don't realize
you
hilarious,
hey you
disrespectful.
hey you went out. You said the moment we don't realize it. After that, you went out.
I say, it's hard to realize those special moments in like in an NBA and stuff, like in the moment. But let's not act like Joel Embiid is not the one of, if not the face of disappointment when it comes to like the playoffs. Like dog, them getting sent home by the Raptors. What year was that?
Uh, it's been about 4 years. When
That is going to be.
Kawhi Leonard,
Yep.
right?
Yep, Kawhi Leonard hit that miraculous shot. Don't get me wrong, it was miraculous. I wouldn't put my house on that. But at the same time, compared to the team, I would have to look up the roster, but compared to who the Sixers had that year, they shouldn't have lost.
I mean, especially to the Raptors.
Are you like? Do you hear me? I will say, like, a matter of fact, I say even I get a Raptors a little rope. I'll be honest, dude. Like they didn't have the players necessarily, but the players was producing enough. I say that much. Like I think Fred Van Vliet was going crazy that year for sure, but I just don't think Philly they have the smarts to be contenders for real. Like they don't have the smarts to be contenders. Like I don't see it happening. It may happen, and if it does, I'll be eating my own words, of course. But I just don't see it happening, man. I have not seen. I haven't seen them make a smart move in years since I've been alive. And if they have made a smart move, they'll take big step and then take two big steps back. That's what I've seen with Philly since I've been alive. Let's not forget this is the same organization that picked Tobias Harris over Jimmy Butler at one point. You heard me?
I ain't no. Hey, look, I hate to
Can't
say it.
hear you, but
Are you on the elevator or something?
it's your audio. I can't hear you.
No, My audio clean. It's you until you get settled.
I can't hear you, Paul.
Can you hear
Just
me now?
nod yes or no. Do you back in?
No, can you hear me now? What's this boy doing, man? Yeah,
Okay. What was the last thing we was said? Was it? I know it was about Philly.
I don't even remember because your audio was so bad.
I is it better now?
It's perfect.
Yeah, but I was just saying. I think I was just saying pretty much like Philly ain't really ever been making the smartest move since I've been alive for real. Like other than really AI, I don't remember Philly being a big team worth anybody's like thought for real. Like
Yeah,
they've had key players. They've had key players, but I don't think they've made any key moves.
man, they made some key moves this offseason. Um, if you bring in uh, Eric Gordon, Andre Drummond, and Paul George, and you already got Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying? I consider that a strong move, but if they're gonna let him, um,
In the sense of mentoring, I see that as a strong move.
if they going but I'm saying if they're gonna let him load manage, you know what I'm saying? That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
That's what, but you got to remember, even that still, you still deal with Paul George. He not playing back to back games either.
Is it because um so I ain't, man, look, I don't even really pay. I ain't been paying a whole lot of attention to basketball because it's been football season.
Yes.
I kind of I kind of lock in the basketball, after football season is over, and I watch basketball here and there, but until the football season is over, I don't really lock in. So Paul George, he been missing this back end on Paul's of back to backs.
Yeah, I think at first it was like a contract thing with him. He wanted. I think he wanted a max. I believe he wanted a max. I could be wrong, but I'm really strong minded on him wanting the max.
He got the max though.
Right, and that was the thing. But he's not going to play back to back games. I don't think he deserves a max either. You can't deserve it. You can't. In my opinion, I don't care if you're a vet. I could respect you being a vet, but I don't think Paul George produced enough to be getting the max contract. I just don't. Like in the sense of, if you really think about it, Pop, go if you go back and look at interviews, anything, every team that Paul George has been sent to, he has always said they finna get a championship out of me. He's always said that. Every team he went to, OKC, all of it, never happened. So no, I don't think you deserve no max contract. Don't get me wrong, you deserve a lot of money, my boy. You are a legend, but a max contract is just far fetched for me. That can be given to somebody younger with needs.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Hey, by the way, anybody in the chat, you want to grab your whatever I want merch? They go to QR code on the screen, scan that QR code, look and see what we got out there, see if it's something you like, man. But yeah, um, right now I don't even have I don't have a clue who.
Wait, I don't want to cut you off, but I will say this: leave it to you to create a podcast with merch that I can't even rock at work.
Yeah, this ain't for work. It's for this for this for every day. This for every day wear. But yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie. I As soon as they signed Paul George, man, I say, man, Philly gonna win the championship. I said Philly was gonna win the championship, and psh, it ain't looking good.
No, like, and then you know what's crazy is like, it seemed like every team in the NBA is just in the same situation as far as like they don't. I don't think no team in the NBA really know the future of their franchise. I really don't think that. Like with OKC, with teams like OKC, like I'm pretty sure, like yeah, of course you got that figured out. If you don't put no pieces around that boy Shy, you will be a fool. But
He got pieces.
you know you know with the NBA it's a lot different than the NFL. It's you literally it really takes the right pieces for an NBA championship. In the NFL, you can put together, make sure it's been teams in the league for in the NFL for years that people can't really explain how they won with who they had. Like, come on now, like Eagles beat the Patriots. Nobody thought that would happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but in the NBA, it really takes the right pieces being together. And I don't mean to keep bringing up old teams or bring up the Bulls and nothing, but that is like a once in a lifetime thing that all those right pieces ever got put together to make something as great as that. In the NBA, it takes a lot of putting the right pieces together. Even you can put a lot of great players together. Let's not forget Kobe had Karl Malone, and nothing came of that. It's the same thing with OKC. Same thing with Philly. Same thing. Like you can put together these big names, but it ain't the right. If it ain't the right pieces, it ain't nothing finna come from that.
Yeah, I just I just wish you know what you think about the whole thing they've been saying that the 3-point shot is killing the game.
I think it's true, 100%. Everybody wanted to model. Like here's the thing. Like everybody loves Steph Curry for how he brought his impact on the game, but not everybody is Steph Curry. The mid range shot. I'll be honest with you. It's a lot of people who could argue the mid range layups and all that is a more important shot and than the 3-pointer because it is. Like you shoot. I'll be honest, Pop. Let me ask you, Spence. God, I can't even ask you. You a great shooter. Jesus Christ. Okay, if you put your regular shooter, right, and
Hmm.
he chuck up 10 threes, your regular day-to-day shooter, he chuck up 10 threes. How many you think he hitting?
Uh, three.
As opposed to him hitting a easy mid-range shot or layup out of 10.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think he only gonna hit three.
The mid-range shot?
Oh, the mid range.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say let's switch it. Let me say uncontested three and uncontested mid range. So
Okay.
I would say uncontested three. He'll hit 3 out of 10, and uncontested mid range. He'll hit six. He'll hit 6 out of 10. Contested 4.5 to 5 out of 10.
And that's not hard. And with that information, it's not hard to tell what's going to win games more. With a 3-point shot, like I legit watched the game where both teams shot 9 threes in a row and missed before in the NBA. Like the 3-point shot, man. See, the difference is like what everybody like to do those comparisons. So like, oh, the teams in the '90s would dominate today, or the teams now would dominate the teams in the night. But I think the only reason I think the '90s would win for real is because the level of defense you had to play was crazy compared to it was crazy compared to today. These boys ain't really having to play defense if you just throwing up threes. They know they just you throwing up a three like, all right, cool. I put a hand in your face and that's pretty much solving that problem if you're not Steph Curry. And nowadays, like sticking to more on that topic. Back in the days, I don't. I think a lot of people could shoot threes. I think the defense was so tough, it wasn't. You couldn't do it as often. Like you got to remember, they was forcing a lot of players to drive just so they can beat up on them.
That's true.
Nowadays, the 3-point game. Didn't I send you a TikTok a few years ago that you? I feel like you should remember it because we had a good laugh about it. Where they some dudes was in the gym hooping at the Y, and it was just a dude sitting on the bench. He was like, Steph Curry ruined the game. He was like, look at this young man right here. The little boy drove all the way down the court on the fast break, and instead of driving, he shot a three and missed.
Definitely not surprised.
I don't never want to take away from what Steph Curry contributed to the game. I think his impact is something that we'll never see again. But
There
yes,
is
his 3-point shot.
that's what I was going to say. There is a but. What is the but?
But his impact on the game may have ruined the league. And think about that. You got to think about how cold that is, Pop. For like, let's not give him his props now. You have to think that you are so elite that everybody else after you tried to model their game after you, and it ruined the league because nobody could compare to you. You gotta think how cold that is, though. Like you gotta think that is raw. Like
I tell you what, man. I don't. I don't like what you just did. You know what I'm saying? I don't, you. I don't, we don't do Steph slander.
I
And the
don't.
same.
And I
Hey, hey,
apologize
hey.
if it came off that way, but that is
It,
crazy to me.
hey, it came off that way. You know, but I understand where you was going with it though. I do. But hey, Steph ain't telling these boys to take them shots.
He not.
I mean, you know what I'm saying. Steph hit his.
Like yeah, and that's why I say like I think it's so cold, and that adds to the Steph Curry aura that I can honestly say he ruined the NBA in the most spectacular fashion. You can't compare to me. The league can't compare to me with everybody trying to be like me. I'm gonna be honest, man. Like in terms of players, when it comes to that aura, that status, and everything, man, we already know that Steph Curry is the LeBron stopper. We know that. That's like, can we agree that that's who he is? He's the LeBron stopper.
Yeah, some truth to that, I guess. But
So
everybody's a LeBron stopper though.
yeah, true. Everybody ate off my boy,
You get
but
a ring. You get a ring. You get a ring.
you calling my boy Oprah?
Yeah, you
but
get a ring, Joe.
I say it like this: when you I don't mean to change the subject, but when you said it was like some slander in there, man, I don't want it to ever be that because I really respect everything about Steph Curry because I feel like his what he stands for is a lot more than what he currently do. Like I'll be honest, man, you talk about a dude wasn't the highest drafted, didn't come from a big name school, and has put this much of an impact on the league like this. I can never take nothing away from Steph Curry, but he definitely ruined the league. He ain't telling them to make the shots, but you're that good that they wanted to be like you. And now it's up to the league to readjust. Like we need more people who ain't taking as many shots in the league. Not too many people can, like you said with James Harden. You said he take a lot of high volume shots. The only person in the league who can do that with a success rate the way it is Steph Curry.
Facts. I just, but I don't, you know, man, I don't, a lot of people say they don't enjoy the game, man. I'm still enjoying it. Like I'm weird, you know, I'm still enjoying it, and I'm one of the weird people that enjoy it more than I ever did. If not more, just as much. You know what I'm saying? I am still enjoying it. Like I don't,
You can
I
hear me?
don't. Yeah, I hear you.
I can see why you say that though, Pop, but as time passes, the league goes towards more of the younger crowd, right?
Yeah,
You allowed to say that because you literally watch the NBA in different generations. You watch it go from mid-level basketball to the high octane level of basketball to it being kind of mid to it being great again with Kobe and Shaq, and then now it's not. We have my generation have not seen that. It's just been trash basketball. You got to keep in mind, like even though we love the LeBron era, because that's what we in right now. Let's be honest, it's the LeBron era, whatever. But LeBron hasn't given us enough for us to be as satisfied with the league, man. We like you know what I'm saying. Either way, like hear me out. You had teams like in the '90s. You had the Bulls. Early 2000s. You had the Lakers, but like everybody had a chance back at the end. You wasn't going into the NBA season being like, oh well, they gonna win. Like with the Bulls, maybe that could be arguable, but you know it was the competition was a lot stronger than what it is. Like I don't see too much competitiveness, man. Everybody just I'm gonna go out here, chuck up a couple shots and leave. I can argue the same thing with the NFL, maybe, but like it ain't to the extent of the NBA. Like man, these dudes ain't competitive, man. You get out there and you watch these games, man, and like I think I forgot who it was, but somebody said it like, man, you got these dudes. They, you know what I'm saying, in the off season, they training together, they best friends, they a couple of them each other's godparents or kids. That ain't how it used to be. It was like, man, I ain't, we could be cool and you know what I'm saying in the off season, but in the season, we ain't finna talk to y'all. Ain't nothing to say.
yeah. It definitely a little too chummy around this around this place.
That's irritating to watch, man. I don't want to see people be friends. Like I want to see that level of competition to where I kid you not, I remember hearing stories of players having pictures of certain players who they would have to defend on their wall for the whole off season up until the time they face that person, just to give them how much. Like matter of fact, I tell you like this. I tell you a story like this. Remember Gilbert Arenas didn't make it on USA.
Yeah.
He vowed that every coach on that USA team he was finna give them work after that. And every time he faced them coaches, he gave them 50. You don't see players doing that no more. Like for example, like even Jaylen Brown. I feel like Jaylen Brown should be in that mode. Jaylen
Hey,
Brown's probably one. Yeah.
he's you know they the defending champions, and they until somebody knock them off. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see if I was any team, I wouldn't want to see the Celtics in the playoffs. Jalen Brown still has his chance to cement his place. I'm a huge Jalen Brown supporter. Huge.
I'm, if like here's the thing: if you didn't support Jaylen Brown, then you definitely got to support him now because that is undeniable. But wait, I take that. I got to take that back. We got to act like certain things in this NBA is infinity stones, right? To
Hmm.
be and something. Let's be honest, playing on that USA team and winning. That's a part of the infinity stones. I'm gonna be honest. And unfortunately, I don't feel like there's ever really been a player other than Michael Jordan who's collected every Infinity Stones, and I just feel like that's taken away from that man opportunity to get those Infinity Stones. With niggas, I mean, well, I'm sorry, with players like LeBron, only reason he don't have every Infinity Stone is because he chose not to get every one. People have been saying People have been saying, "Oh, I'm gonna leave LeBron out of the GOAT category because he ain't never competed in a dunk contest."
Yeah,
And that's a
that's silly.
Yeah, that's a fair. You don't think that's a fair argument?
No. Duncan ain't got nothing to do with that, man. Duncan don't make you the GOAT. Vince
No,
Carter ain't the GOAT.
no. I ain't talking about in the GOAT conversation. I meant in the Infinity Song conversation. Like just certain accolades that I feel
Uh,
like should be uh, important to being the greatest.
has
Like
LeBron has LeBron competed in the 3-point contest?
no,
Mm.
chose not to. But back to the point of Jalen with the Jalen Brown thing is like I feel like as a person I used to be an athlete. When it came to the public opinion or whatever, it always, for me, it rounded back to undeniability. I want to be considered the best undeniably, whether that be for a season, whether that be for era or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's those categories that you can put yourself into, and I feel like Jalen Brown with the USA team, man, him not being on that team, that should have been a situation where it's like, man, like you kind of took away that undeniability because you can't tell me Jalen Brown wasn't finna come through and produce the way he could. He definitely would have produced more than Jason Tatum because he do that every night.
I don't know about. I know he deserved to be on the team more than Derek White and some others. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
and that's my thing, and it goes back to what you said. It goes back to how you started the conversation as far as the league being how it is, man. Like, God, man, I ain't gonna lie, man. I remember when I grew up. Like, I'll be honest with you. When I grew up, you just every single year you talked about the greats, man. Of course, you talked about the greats, Shaq, Kobe, Dirk, all of them. But you really never knew who was finna be in the finals. You really never knew.
No, but
Nowadays, you
you talking about you talking about in the 2000s? Yes, you did. You knew who was going to be in the finals. You always know. It's always been that way. It's always
I
been six teams. It's always six teams with a legitimate shot at winning the championship.
now it's every team.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think everybody is a legitimate has a legitimate shot. I think
Okay, well, I mean,
so
obviously,
wait,
my dog,
wait,
you ain't
wait,
gonna
before you say
argue
this.
the Wizards, of course.
No, 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 before you say this. Okay. In recent memory, the only team that I think that won a championship that nobody thought was going to win a championship were the Toronto Raptors. Everybody else, they were kind of favorites to win a championship, or they were they were known to be a contender.
Wait, I have to question. It depends on when that's determined by. Is we saying at the beginning of the season we know, or as the season goes on, we kind of find out who it's gonna be?
A little bit of both. A
Because
little
if I
bit of
was
both.
gonna say if you're gonna argue that, if you're gonna argue the first one, then you got to put Milwaukee Bucks up there.
No, the Milwaukee Bucks were a contender. They wasn't a league contender, but they were a contender.
That matters though, Pop. Like
What
at
I'm
the end of the day, like we know. Go ahead, my bad.
No, no. What I'm saying is Toronto. Nobody thought that the Toronto
Oh
Raptors
yeah, it should have
would.
been Philly. It should have been Philly.
Yeah, no, nobody thought that they would win a championship.
Yeah, I can agree there. But at the same time, Pop, competition was fierce back then in the early 2000s. I'm sorry, like it was way more than what it is today. Like for example, like you know what I'm saying, like all these people in the league trying to act like they making so these elite changes to their game, and like man, you got niggas. I mean, you got people like John Morant saying, "I'm not gonna dunk no more." Like what? Like come on, man.
Yeah,
Like I just huh?
that's a little wild. But hey man, hey, this Washington and Atlanta game going into overtime, we gonna sign out for a minute. We might jump back on after this overtime. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
We appreciate y'all for rocking out, man. Talk shit Tuesday. It won't be this Tuesday because that's New Year's Eve. We took these couple weeks off, but right after the New Year, we'll be right back.